Oh, damn. Howdy, y'all. You know what? It's been a week. That's right. Howdy, Steve. I got an embarrassingly large box today from somebody that you know. With it came this pretty letter opener. And I'm going to see how well it opens up a cigar. And if it doesn't do a great job, that's fine. I can always sharpen it later. So I got this YABO to talk about that I can't. That's fine. I never trust a knife until I've sharpened it myself. Y'all don't ever think that I'm unappreciative. Somebody sends me cold steel, I'm going to use it. It's not that I'm unappreciative, but I always test. You know, in case any of y'all were watching the show Reacher lately, I'm going to say it like this. Never trust a firearm you haven't fired yourself. Exactly. I'm not going to put my eye out with this thing. It ain't a firearm. It's just a knife. It's fine. And Martin, yes, by the way, howdy Martin. Yesterday was right on the cusp of 80. Today is right on the cusp of 40. It's just over 40. But looks like it's going to drop down to about 39 by tonight. And it's been barely hovering above 40 where I'm at all day. That's by the mercury on the wall, not by the weather service that says that we're at 46. It's been wet. It's been breezy. And I can already feel a little bit of pressure inside the ear, so I'm going to be out here for an hour and a little bit smoking this fine cigar, by the way, an Alec Bradley Lost Art. Y'all remember me saying that I picked up a 4-pack of cigars, and this was the whole reason I got that 4-pack? I meant it. If you're wondering what I'm going to be drinking today, I figured I'd try something completely different, being that I've had this cigar before, and it is a HEB apple flavored soda. Ah, Martin. Yeah, it's not really so much that it's cold. It's that it's cold and wet. It could be 30, 40 degrees colder than this. If it was dry, I'd be fine. It could be raining completely hardcore so that I couldn't even be heard out here without screaming. And it does rain that hard here in the Houston area. Trust me on that one. But it needs to be 60 degrees or warmer. It gets to 40 degrees and this 100% humidity, and it's literally like swimming in ice water. You're up, you're down, you're up, you're down. Your body just can't get warm, can't stay warm. And if it gets cold, then it gets worse. So yeah, I am a bit bundled right now. I promise. It's nothing to do with the actual temperature. It has everything to do with the overall atmospheric conditions and me not wanting to be sick. Snow on Friday. There is a statement that sounds a whole lot like Buck Stat. Yeah. That's my thoughts on the whole snow by Friday in freaking March. Hell no. Needless to say, I don't do cold. My peoples, we can handle anything. And by my peoples, I'm talking about my family. We can handle anything. The question is, why? Just remember, those of us south of I-40 by a whole bunch, we handle heat real well. And there's a bunch of y'all that come August, y'all are going to be going, but the question is, why? So, we're all even on that score. Sooner or later, the weather is going to catch up with everybody, except for people in San Diego. San Diego is pretty much perfect year-round, except for the fact that it's in California. Every place has got its flaws, just saying. Come on, I'm from Oakland. Of course I know about California. and where the rival teams used to be from. Now it's all flip a coin. You never know where they're going to be next week. Hey, how about baseball? Think they'll start this time? Never mind. That's right. Atlanta Braves win the World Series, and baseball is so butthurt by it that they can't even get a damn season started on time. They got to cancel games. Now, Martin, I'm going to let you know, being that United States of America is not actually importing wheat, but their decline in wheat production will be the fact that most of the equipment used to harvest the wheat runs on hydrocarbons, whether it be diesel or gas or there might be threshing machines that use electric, but that is probably run off of coal. Just remember, Martin, if your sandwich at that particular sandwich shop goes up too much, do a little creative graffiti. Go up to their shop with a can of spray paint, and on the side of it, the words of the prophet. That's what you got to paint. The words of the prophet. For the rest of us, we'll just stay silent on that issue. Steve, I wouldn't doubt that 72 years of bad roads. Not my fault. I didn't do it. No, I didn't do it. By the way, if someone ever shows up today, I got a letter, and I'm not going to open it. Not sure if y'all can see that, but I'm betting you can tell who it's from just by that symbol that's showing up in that nice red wax dollop. Now, I can't show you the other side. I'm not sure if I'm allowed to show you the other side. It's official stationery. Would hate to get somebody in trouble. That alone that I did show might be enough to get somebody in trouble. But I got a YABO to do today. Unfortunately, package in the mail showed up at exactly the same time as the Amazon stuff. So my wife, knowing that all of the Amazon stuff is for her, opened it. And was wondering what this bubble wrapped, encased in styrofoam peanuts bullshit is this, and who sent it? Now, if you want to see a decent picture of what I got, you should go check out the BriarReport.org. specifically the blog, aka the blob. Ooh, that tastes exactly like Honeycrisp apples. Not really what I expected out of an apple flavored soda. But pretty good. Huva Ilta, Boris. Oh, goodness gracious. Actually, it's probably morning time where Boris is. Which means it's like Huva Ilta Pavaya or something to that effect. Yeah. So anyways, as I was saying, there is a picture on the Breyer Report of exactly what I got. That's breyerreport.org. Seriously, it's right there. I was laughing when I saw it. Oh, yeah, I guess Ilta Pavaya is afternoon. All right, so Boris, what is good morning then? Steve, I actually did enjoy the Conucos. Decent flavor, smokes pretty well, held up all right. I did have to rod it a little bit there at the end, but what are you expecting out of a single dollar cigar? You don't expect a lot out of a single dollar cigar. Quite, to be honest, you don't expect anything enjoyable out of a single dollar cigar. So that was a pleasant surprise. Good find. And if you're wondering what I'm talking about by rodding a cigar, that's where you take your check tool, the little rod, the aerator, whatever you want to call it, and you insert it into the cigar just to make sure that the air channel through the cigar is sufficiently open. It started closing up on me near the end. No big deal. And I couldn't even put the rod all the way in before it was hitting the cherry. But I didn't want to put it down, so I rodded it a couple times just to make sure that I got all the way through it. It was plugging up. No big deal. Like I said, it's $1 cigar. Somebody showed me your best dollar cigar, and I'm pretty sure I could put a Canuco right up on top of it. And I'm fairly certain if you like cigars, you're going to like the Canuco probably better than you liked that other dollar cigar. Well, if you're actually into cigars, and by into cigars, I mean like somebody sends you a Cuban, you actually know what you got. Somebody tells you, hey, I've got the Alec Bradley Lost Art, and you're going to be like, hey, that's pretty enjoyable smoke. Somebody hands you a Padron, and you know they're a friend. You don't even have to know them to know that they're a friend. I mean, there's all kind of little stupidity rules about cigars. Let's be honest. One of those stupidity rules is that a dollar cigar won't be good. Well, that's been proven to be false. Will they be great? Okay, let's stop the freaking presses before we start calling something great. Will it be great for the price of $1? Oh, yeah. How would I rate that? It's a golf stick. It's a good golf stick. Ah, that's right. Huva minta. Boris. I apologize about saying afternoon. Thanks, Boris. Oh, God. I love it when Boris goes ahead and slaps me down for not having better training in the Finnish language. It's fine. I can handle it. I can barely pass English, so like hell I'm going to pass Finnish. Just saying. As far as languages goes, I'm retarded. Oh, wait a second. It's Cliff friggin' Higgins. You mean tea? That's tea. I'm sure I only sent you tea, Cliff. I would hate for your wife to get mad at you. That's only tea. Watch the eye. Cliff. Howdy, Sharon. Great to see you, ma'am. Cliff, am I allowed to open this with this letter opener that you sent? Howdy, Nathan Campbell. Okay, well, if I'm allowed to open it with, because I don't want to break that pretty H. Now, I'm going to tell y'all again the story of why I'm not doing a YABO. I really wanted to do a YABO and show you how pretty a jar of pickled eggs is. And, well, I'm kind of glad that I didn't, because Cliff would have had me eating up about 30 minutes with his engineering of tape and bubble wrap and peanuts. By the way, awesome, Cliff. Loved it. Haven't had one yet. Ah, okay. Sorry. This is not, as I said, a letter opener. This is an egg slicer. I have it on good authority right here. It says so right there. I have included an egg slicer. There, all right, so we'll read it from the top. Dear Donald, I certainly hope you enjoy the pickled eggs, my boy. I'm somebody's boy, that's awesome. I have included an egg slicer. The switch on the top is a safety. Be careful when you press the button. There's the button right there. This is a very diverse tool. It'll even open a cigar pretty well. You will find many uses for it. Already have. I use mine for a letter opener. I knew it! And in a pinch, it can be used as a cigar cutter. It's like he read my mind. When I give someone something, I don't expect one damn thing in return. You've already given me the only thing I want from you, your friendship. God bless, Cliff. Yes, God bless Cliff, because, well, nobody wants my blessing. Just saying. Martin, yes, Boris probably does speak better English than I do. That's not a joke. That's just bold, straight up truth. And Steve, yeah, I enjoy smoking a less expensive cigar all the time, because that's where you learn a lot that's come from. Not a problem, Boris. I appreciate all your help in Martin. You'll have to ask Cliff those questions. And Cliff, yes, I thought it very interesting that we were thinking the exact same thing. It's a letter opener, egg slicer. In a pinch, it'll open a cigar. I did. I opened this cigar with it. It did amazingly well. Well, Boris, I'm not going to tell. This type of blade is illegal off property for carrying around. But here in Texas, you can carry a freaking, well, you ever saw the movie Blade or Braveheart? You can carry any of that. Oh, it can do a lot of things in a pinch. I'm going to have to sharpen it a little bit. Cliff, I appreciate the sending it to me, believe me. But I always sharpen all my knives. And I always test them before I trust them. Has nothing to do with you. That's just, I don't trust anything until I've tested it so that I know what to trust it with. But I'm sure you're the same way. You don't just take the newest dental tool and go to work in someone's mouth without testing it out first. I'm sure of that. Hey, Martin, it's never too soon to make jokes. Here was a joke, something I caught on Twitter the other day. Oh my God, this was funny. Somebody was writing an article for some newspaper in San Francisco. And he said he pulled his Glock 17 out of the glove box and flipped off the safety. I stopped reading the article at about that point just because I knew the lie for what it was. The person who brought that to Twitter, my reply to them, because they knew it was a lie also, So I asked them, maybe I'm confused, but I'm not sure how using a finger gesture that is considered rude at a piece of equipment that doesn't exist is going to somehow improve the situation. Oh, Steve, don't worry, I got the eggs. Oh yeah. And it's like the exact same picture as what was on the Breyer Report blog today. I might have to sleep outside. I might have to repaint the walls. I might have to retouch every corner in this house after I light one of those bad boys off. Some of y'all are not understanding what I'm saying by that, but if you take a square structure and you pressurize it sufficiently, it will take all the corners out of it. I plan on relieving some pressure, but I'm not sure what that's going to do inside the house. Can you take bricks from square and turn them round? Can they go back to square? I don't know. We'll figure it out. I will not eat one today. But as soon as I got the bubble wrap and the tape all off of it, it took me a while too. I was afraid I was going to drop the jar, so I was being real super careful about how much I would cut and how much I would pull. I obviously don't want to drop a glass jar on tile floor and watch it explode and destroy the whole package. So I was careful. And because of that, it took some time. Cliff, you have a job as an engineer waiting for you if you don't figure that dentistry is going to work out. And with Arkansas, it can go either way. I'm sure you understand what I'm saying. Oh, good Lord. This thing has 42 grams of sugar in it. I'm going to have to gargle toothpaste or something later. Cliff's going to stick to shucking teeth. Understood. By the way, Cliff, last night, one of the last things just before Nathan got off, I made sure to ask that we all pray for a certain person that is going to Muletown Pipe Show in the hopes that he survives such ordeals. You know. That was before I got the pickled eggs. Just letting you know. By the way, Cliff, how is that green egg? You almost didn't get it. I was like, man, that's kind of pretty. I might keep it. But, you know, it wasn't for me, so I packaged it up. And then saw that there was so much room in the box. I said, oh, God, you know, let me put some packaging material in there. What do I got that's Cliff safe? I have tea. What, I sent you like 4 cups of tea, right? Oh, Cliff, I didn't weigh it. I don't know how much there was. I just said, you know what? These sample bags are good for tea. And hopefully you like English blends, because that's all I had. Quite literally. And I'm not saying that's all I had of the supply. I'm just saying all I had on hand here at the house was all English blends. And I was like, man, okay. That's going to be interesting. Howdy, Paul. Great to see you, sir. Oh, yes. It's definitely English tea. Yes. Lord Nelson, I thought would have reminded me a whole lot of Earl Grey. But no, it reminds me a whole lot more of Memphis ribs. Just to be honest. I mean, well, Cliff, what not to love about Memphis ribs? And someone who grew up in West Memphis, I'm wanting to know if it reminds you of Memphis ribs after you've tried it. So, you know, if it doesn't remind you, then maybe it's just for me, it's the memory of Memphis ribs. More specifically, more like Rendezvous. Boris, I have a serious doubt that that is going to happen. But if it does, that's because Cliff is the man. Come on, Cliff. You actually live 63 minutes from Memphis. Don't lie telling people it's an hour. There's that one red light. Catches everybody. Takes 2.5 minutes. Jonesboro has more than one stoplight, people. I'm just playing. Well, Cliff, I do plan on smoking at least once after I'm dead. I'm leaving out of here with a smoking hot body. Oh yeah, cremation will do that for a man. For those of y'all who don't understand this, because I live in the Houston area and have for quite some time, I know how difficult it is for medical students to get a cadaver so that they can practice. And Houston is one of the largest medical communities on the planet, which means that they need lots and lots of cadavers to practice on at some point. So this is what happens. You donate yourself to science or to medical research or whatever. These students get to practice their doctoring skills on a dead person that they can't hurt. I guess you should call it a dead husk that can't be hurt. When they're done, they cremate it and they mail the ashes back to the family. Let's be honest. When the spark of life has left this physical form, I don't need it anymore. There's no reason to worry about what condition it gets thrown into the ground. No, they'll mail you back this thing that looks like a brick, wrapped in plastic. If you're worried about it, cut it open, right over the toilet, and then hit flush. Done. It's not going to offend me any. Well, Boris, being that I'll probably see you there, they'll probably have me in the air-conditioned room because the cold is too much for me and they can't turn up the heat enough. So, yeah, just saying. We'll go hang out in the air-conditioned room. Cliff, I can only imagine. And I'm telling you right now, there's a lot of doctors that stop being doctors because they can't pass gross anatomy. Because they walk in and they lose it. There's a whole bunch of them that find trash cans and buckets. At least one of the more famous classes for it here in the local area has several trash cans lined up outside the door. At least on the first day. Always thought it was funny. Then you see what's in the room, and then you're going like, oh, okay. Yeah, maybe they're just not cut out for being a doctor. No surprise. No surprise to me. My mom finding out that way back in the day I wanted to be a doctor. We went to all the nice hospitals that we could go to, her being a nurse. Nothing really affected me. And it wasn't until much later that I found out that seeing people throw up causes me to throw up, which convinced me that being a doctor was impossible for me because I can't get over that for whatever reason. So, and it's kind of hard to pass your medical stuff without at some point working around sick people, which means you're going to be working around people who are going to puke. And it's really hard to work around people who are going to puke if you're joining them on the floor puking. Yeah. And then the other side of it is I also found out that I'd have to be in school for so many more years, and I said, screw that, I'm out of here. Come on, we all know Keith Richards is going to outlive us all. It's all those preservatives. At least I'll call them preservatives. You call them anything you want to. I'll continue to call them preservatives. By the way, somebody the other day was talking about interesting emails. Oh, that's right. It was Dingus McSwine, who has a new email. Just so that you know, he has a new email. Oh, come on, Paul. It's not like that. So I said I'd tell the story of my first email account. Y'all remember back in 2001, there were somebody, I think it was 2001, might have been later than that. Somebody decided to mail a certain white powder through the mail. Nasty stuff. It got all over the place. Horrible, horrible thing to do. Well, I took a job that was going to have me on the road. And by on the road, I mean, except for 2 weeks of the year, I was not going to see home. That was the week before Christmas and the week after Christmas. Yeah. That is very true, Steve. That is also true, Cliff. So I took this job on the road, and away I went. Because I was previously vaccinated for that white powder that was mailed all over the place. So, great. But I had to set up an email account, which I'd never had before. Never needed one before. Never wanted one before. I didn't want an email account. Just one more way to people track you. Back at the time, the only guaranteed connection you could guarantee in all 50 states and all of the various little territories that I might be going to would be to use dial-up. So I went to AOL, typed in my information, and I said, okay, I want this for an email address, already taken. All right, I want this for an email address, already taken. How about this for an email address? Already taken. After about an hour of trying various different email addresses, it's Mark, Welsh Piper 62, Mark. Thought about you last night in the prayer meeting also, Mark. Glad to see you here. And remember, there is no late to tailgate. You can't be late for anything that is just the meeting place before the next show. So here I am, I'm steadily typing through every damn email possibility that I could ever want, something that's memorable. And finally this tab pops up in AOL that said, would you like us to suggest something for you? Sure, why not? Can't be any worse than typing in every email address that I want just to find out that somebody else already has it. And what they came back with, I'm going to type it in, but what they came back with was, Hi, Donald. Now, let's remember, by this point in time, I was a very successful electrician. And I read it. And I started laughing. And then I laughed out of the chair. And I laughed on the floor. And I rolled around on the floor laughing. And I was dying laughing. Fried Donald. It's hilarious to me. Anyways, after about 30 minutes of rolling around on the ground and laughing hysterically, I finally got up and hit enter and said, yep, I'll take it. James Stumbo, thank you, sir, for being here. Great to see you. Oh, James, no thanks needed for the tailgate, brother. I mean, I'm going to be there at your show one way or the other. I might as well have some fun and hang out with, well, what? A third of your crowd? A quarter of your crowd? A fifth of your crowd? A fifth of your crowd. Now we're talking. Yeah. A fifth and your crowd. And then as soon as you go live, we can all jump over and hang out with James Stumbo. And that's what tailgating's all about. It's not about me. It's about we. Because we are hanging out here waiting to see when Mr. Stumbo goes live so that we can get over there and get our howdies out of the way. Or your hellos, or your good days, or be a million other statements of ways that we wave and say hi to one another. And I've always kind of really enjoyed hanging out with Mr. Stumbo. Even before he started doing lives, when he was mostly just on Simon's live feeds. And, you know, I was like, man, that guy's got a good sense of humor. I'm going to enjoy hanging out with him. I didn't get to spend very much time on Simon's shows because my time and scheduling and his time and scheduling just don't always match up very well. But I do get there when I can, which is the same as here. Get here if you can. If you can't, no big deal. Nobody's late. Nobody's ever going to be in trouble for showing up in the last 10 seconds. No big deal. If that's when your schedule permits, welcome in. I'm glad you could be here. Now, if I shut up and start smoking, I'd actually smoke this cigar instead of watching it go out. Still easier to operate than a pipe during a live feed, though. And Cliff, before anybody else says anything else, remember, I appreciate the eggs and the letter opener. And I was really, really impressed with the pressed wax stamping that was on the outside of the envelope. Shows some of that real world class. I'm not sure how my low class self is supposed to compete with that. And Boris, I always appreciate you, brother. Especially when you start ragging on me, because it allows me to know that you feel comfortable enough with me that there's not any bad feelings there. Hopefully there's not anyways. Yes, the tea. Tea is always good. Howdy, Robert. Great to see you, sir. Glad you could make it for the last 2 minutes or so. I'm not sure. How many more minutes till Mr. Stumbo goes live? Got 5 minutes on the clock, supposedly. As soon as anybody sees him go live, please, somebody let me know. There's no late to tailgate, Robert. Tailgate is tailgate. Show when you can. Get what you can. Leave when we leave. Because the real show is going to start, and that's when we leave. That's the truth about tailgating. I've said it so many times. Y'all have heard it all before. It's not me, it's we. We as a community, getting together, enjoying, spending our times with one another. You know, shooting the shit, bullshitting, talking, having fun. Putting aside all the differences, coming together as a community of various different peoples that is proven to the world that we can do this if we all just try. Howdy 45, great to see you, sir. That's true. It might be coming from the side of a certain bourbon bottle, huh? Yeah. I can see that, yeah. Oh, but see, I'm going to save it. I'm not going to melt it back down or nothing because, let's be honest, it's got my initial on it. Just like, as I tell Cliff all the time, so does our cane and our knife. Yeah. I'm just wondering when it's going to be our turn to possess the cane and the knife, but obviously not anytime soon. He's going to need both for Muletown, I'm sure. Boris has a niece named T? Awesome. But is her middle initial Abaco? Good old-fashioned English tea. And like I said, I'm really going to be interested in what Cliff Higgins has to say about Lord Nelson. I think he'll enjoy all of them, but I think he knows enough about Memphis ribs to have an opinion on whether it reminds him of Memphis ribs or not. And maybe it's not Memphis ribs. Maybe it's more like Memphis in May when you can smell all the ribs being cooked. Cliff knows. Cliff knows. Story about Memphis in May. You get yourself a spot high up right off of Beale, someplace overlooking the sidewalk, put your head on a swivel, and enjoy the view. Howdy, Horatio. Great to see you, sir. You have a jet black cat named Floor? That's pretty awesome. By the way, in case everybody doesn't remember, we are going to be going to the James Stumbo channel here in probably... Oh, after Floor Jansen. Okay, I got it. I'm thankful for my big fluffy cat named Trump. Even if I just about had to slap the shit out of him today. Oh, Stumbo is live. Thank you, Robert. I appreciate that. And supper's ready for 45. Great night. Y'all all have a good one. If you're not going to Stumbo's, and if you are, well, get the hell out of here and get over there quick. By the way, thank y'all for being here. It's been so much fun. It always is. As per always, remember, take care of yourselves and each other. Welsh, I'm talking to you when I say stuff like that. Take care of yourselves and each other. Do the best you can with that. And as always, remember, long lives, big bowls, and long ashes. Y'all take care. I'll see you at Stumbo's here in just a minute. Bye for now. There it is.